I'm Adam.
And I'm Tad.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Hey, Tad, how's it hoppin'?
Oh, just keeping my tushy out of trouble.
Tushy trouble, huh? That sounds intriguing.
Well, you'd be surprised. Just the other day, I landed on a particularly prickly thistle. My tushy hasn't been the same since.
Ouch, that sounds painful. Do frogs have a secret tushy remedy?
A nice dip in the pond usually does the trick. The cool water soothes everything. What about you humans? How do you keep your tushies in top shape?
Well, sitting on soft cushions and avoiding prickly seats help. Plus, kids love talking about their tushies. It's like the funniest word ever to them.
Really? Maybe I should teach a class on proper tushy care. Tushy 101, how to keep your seat sweet.
I'd sign up for that. Maybe we could even have a tushy day at school.
Great idea. We could have a tushy dance contest. Who can wiggle the best?
Now that's a lesson plan. Just imagine the giggles.
And I'd finally have a chance to show off my famous froggy tushy wiggle. It's a crowd pleaser.
Let's make it happen, Tad. In today's book, we find out what happens when all the tushies in an unusual town decides to take a vacation. Let's get started. Where's My Tushy? By Deborah Aronson. Illustrated by Ivica Stevanovic. We all have a tush and we're glad that we've got 'em. Our lives would be rough with no tush or no bottom. If our tushies decided to get up and leave, we'd find it alarming and hard to believe. In one little town, it is sad but it's true, the tushies left town without leaving a clue. Because they believed that their lives were too tough, the tushies decided enough is enough. It was late in the night. They had left without warning. The town was in shock on the following morning. One glance in the mirror explained quite a lot. Where their tushies had been, they were suddenly not. The folks in the town were confused and perplexed. Just how would they cope? What would they do next? It is hard to get dressed without any caboose. I just bought these pants and now look, they're too loose. So they wrapped up their clothes several times round their hips, while holding them up with suspenders and clips. Hey Tad, have you seen my coffee mug? It was on my desk.
No, but I saw a squirrel with a very determined look scurrying away. Maybe it's plotting something.
A squirrel? Plotting? Sounds a bit far-fetched, don't you think?
In Wales, squirrels are known masterminds. They could teach a class on it. Maybe they thought your mug was a shiny acorn.
Well, that's a new one. I just hope they don't start grading papers. My students might get A's for acorn impressions.
At least they won't mark anyone down for nutty handwriting.
True, but I can't teach without my coffee. My brain operates at squirrel speed without it.
Maybe you should try a fly smoothie instead. It works wonders for my reflexes.
Thanks, Tad, but I'll stick with coffee. Now, if only I could find it.
Look over there. There's a little paw waving from your mug on the bookshelf.
What the? How did it get there?
Squirrel acrobatics. I told you, they're plotting something big. Maybe a coffee heist.
Next thing you know, they'll be stealing lesson plans. Thanks. I'll keep an eye out for suspicious rodents.
Never underestimate a Welsh squirrel with a dream.
If they tried to sit down and relax for a bit, they quickly found out that they just couldn't sit. They could lean against walls, they could lie down on beds, they could stand on their hands, they could stand on their heads. "Come back!" cried the people who longed for a seat. "We need to sit down and get off our feet." "But could you leave? You don't call, you don't write." But the tushies were gone, they were nowhere in sight. "Let's look for the tushies," the townspeople cried. Detectives were hired, who certainly tried. No stone was unturned, no rock left unlifted. The evidence gathered was carefully sifted. The townspeople desperately wanted to know, just where in the world did the tushies all go? The tushies, it seems, had come up with a plan to go to the seashore to get a good tan. Their lives had been burdened with pressure and stress. They needed a break and a change of address. So they lounged every day in the tropical sun, and after a while they missed everyone. They missed helping people relax and sit down. So they made up their minds to return to the town. A little girl strolling through meadows of clover tripped on a lump, and then toppled right over. What if our feet went on vacation without us?
That sounds hopping mad. Where would your feet go?
Oh, I bet my feet would love to dip in some warm sandy beaches in Hawaii. They'd probably get all the attention from the fish with their wiggling toes.
Maybe they would meet up with those tushies. My froggy feet would head straight to a lush, muddy pond in Wales. They'd leap from lily pad to lily pad, soaking up all the muck.
Do you think our feet would send us postcards?
Having a totally great time, wish you were here. Love, your feet. Maybe they'd even send us some flip-flops as a souvenir.
Or tiny frog-sized boots for you.
A riveting adventure for our feet. Who knew they had such wanderlust?
Next time we feel tired, we should just let our feet do the traveling.
Agreed. Ribbit and relax, Adam.
By some stroke of fortune, the girl they called Judy had fallen on top of a cutie patootie. The Tushy girl were now reunited. She was thrilled, overjoyed, and simply delighted. She tried on her clothes and was grateful to find they fit very well both in front and behind. Welcome, Tushies! The Tushies felt welcome and glad to be home, and promised they never would wander or roam. They knew they were missed, and they knew they were needed to help everybody be comfortably seated. About the author and illustrator. Deborah Aronson has been writing clever stories in rhyme for many years. She is a retired social worker and lives with her husband in Bloomfield, Michigan. This is her first children's book. Ivica Stevanovic has illustrated many picture books, book covers, and graphic novels. She also teaches classes on graphic books and comics at the Academy of Art in Novi Sad, Serbia. Ivica uses different techniques in his illustrations, beginning with ink pen drawing and adding watercolors and/or digital paintings and collage. He lives in Veternik in northern Serbia with his wife, also a children's illustrator, and their daughter. Sometimes sitting all day makes my tushy sore. It's a good thing I didn't sit too much when I'm teaching.
Sitting on a lily pad all day can make my tushy cold and wet.
Cold and wet? That sounds uncomfortable.
It is. But at least I don't have to deal with those tiny chairs you have in your classroom. How do you even fit your tushy on those?
Carefully. Very carefully. Sometimes I think my tushy's gonna break one of those chairs.
Well, at least your tushy isn't as green as mine.
True. But if it were, I could blend in with the grass during recess.
And I could probably win a tushy hopping contest against you.
You know, if my students heard us talking about this, they'd be giggling for days.
Giggling? I'd have them ribbiting with laughter. Tushies are always a funny topic, no matter if they're human or frog.
Agreed. Here's to our tushies, Tad. May they always find comfortable places to rest. And if this video had you giggling, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Dad.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Did you know some turtles can breathe through their butts? This is thought to be because of evolution, though not all turtles have this ability.